Welcome to our daily newscast where we give you a quick peek at the day's top stories. Despite what you may have read on the internet, I am not Lester Holt. First up, Trump impeachment news. Yesterday, a top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine dropped some truth bombs. We're going to sift through the debris. Then today, Mark Zuckerberg hit Capitol Hill to talk about his new cryptocurrency. Are we ready to hand over our wallets to Facebook too? And lastly, the education department is playing footsie with a suspect for-profit college company. We need to talk about student loans. I'm Jamal Simmons, and here's why you should care. American Ambassador to Ukraine William B. Taylor spent almost 10 hours in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee yesterday detailing what he knew about the Ukrainian arms for political favors controversy. I'm sure you know the White House is under a firestorm because of a whistleblower complaint that President Donald Trump withheld $390 million in military aid from Ukraine until the Ukrainian president would agree to investigate Vice President Joe Biden and his son, Hunter. Joe Biden is now the national frontrunner in the Democratic presidential nomination contest, at least for now. Taylor is a graduate of West Point, a Vietnam War vet and a career diplomat who served under Presidents Reagan, Bush, Clinton, and George W. Bush before President Trump brought him out of retirement and appointed him ambassador to Ukraine himself. Taylor's written testimony, which was acquired first by the Washington Post, ties the president directly to the decision to withhold aid. And he reported that Trump wanted the Ukrainian president to get in front of a microphone and announce the investigation into the Bidens to put the Ukrainian president, quote, in a public box on the issue. Taylor's testimony contradicts the White House claim that there was no quid pro quo. Although White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney contradicted that claim himself when he spoke from behind the White House podium in the briefing room last week. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham has called Taylor's testimony triple hearsay and the investigation a coordinated smear campaign by far-left lawmakers and, quote, radical unelected bureaucrats. Now, why should you care about any of this? Ukraine is an ally trying to fight off Russia, which most Americans consider to be an adversary. If the president wants to change U.S. policy toward these countries, it's his prerogative. But that's usually done with consultations through Congress and official channels and in pursuit of U.S. national interests. This policy change seemed to be done by the president's private lawyer and in secret and for political purposes. Whether Democrat or Republican, if true, that is not how foreign policy should be made. All right, how many people out there still have a Facebook account? Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, his company serves more than 2 billion people on the planet, and he'll be answering questions to 60 lawmakers on Capitol Hill today. The powerful, at times controversial social media mogul defended Facebook's latest development, Libra. Libra is Facebook's version of cryptocurrency, designed to provide a banking option for people who are financially disadvantaged. Libra will be a global payment system fully backed by a reserve of cash and highly liquid assets. The social media behemoth has faced mounting scrutiny, though, from privacy protection issues, to say the least, to data breaches serving as a potential portal for election hacking, and most recently, doubling down on not policing politicians' posts. Mark Zuckerberg is expected to be grilled from all angles. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi recently announced a bill that could come to the floor that would require social media companies to follow the same rules as TV and cable companies when it comes to airing political ads. Chairwoman Maxine Waters grilled Zuckerberg today on the company's policy not to fact-check politicians. And once again, he reiterated it would go against democracy to stifle political speech and to police political ads. Now, why you should care? Facebook has so much data on each and every single one of its users. If they add financial data to that treasure trove of information, the relative power of this private company will grow exponentially. There may be a good reason to let the social media giant into the financial space, but it seems fair that government regulators spend some time figuring it out. Yesterday, the House Education and Labor Committee released a series of documents showing the Education Department gave nearly $11 million in federal aid to students attending a couple of for-profit colleges. This happened despite officials knowing the colleges, the Illinois Institute of Art and the Art Institute of Colorado, were unaccredited and therefore ineligible for such aid. The Washington Post was first to report the story and noted that this latest news builds off of earlier reports from the House committee that say Education Department officials tried to shield Dream Center Education Holdings, the owner of the Art Institutes, from any punishment for lying to students about the accreditation of its now closed schools. Congressman Bobby Scott, chairman of the House Education Committee, is now threatening to subpoena Education Secretary Betsy DeVos for more documents pertaining to the department's role in Dream Center's behavior. But a spokeswoman for the Education Department stated, quote, "The department maintains that it acted in the best interests of students." Really? Why you should care. This is really just icing on the cake. In 2018, the Education Secretary repealed Obama-era regulations that sought to prevent abuses by for-profit colleges and universities that produce graduates with no meaningful job prospects and mountains of student debt. This hands-off approach to regulation has made it easier for students to get trapped in debt for a degree they can't even use. Not only that, back during DeVos's confirmation hearing, the U.S. Office of Government Ethics revealed DeVos has a large-scale web of investments, including companies that pursue students defaulting on their loans, and she has possible connections with for-profit colleges herself. Student loan debt in America has now reached $1.5 trillion, surpassing car and credit loan debt, and impacts more than 44 million Americans. Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos. And head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.